This video is only meant to provide general legal information and is not legal advice. Before you take any action or rely on any information in this video, it is recommended that you consult an attorney or contact the Legal Aid Society of Hawaii. This video outlines the private landlord-tenant eviction process on Oahu. However, the information provided may be useful for anyone involved in an eviction in the state of Hawaii. Your landlord must go through a court process to evict you from your unit. It is illegal for your landlord to personally remove you from the unit, to lock you out without a court order, to evict you in retaliation, to discriminate against you, or to take your personal property. Your landlord must first give you a written notice that you have to leave your rental unit, unless you are at the end of a lease term or the lease has expired. The notice must give you a certain number of days to either leave or correct the problem. The time period given is different based on the type of violation. You will have 5 business days notice for non-payment of rent, 10 days notice for any violation of rules or lease, 45 days notice for a month-to-month termination of rental, and 10 days notice for a week-to-week termination of rental. If you do correct the problem within the given time period, then no eviction proceeding should begin. For example, if you are behind of paying your rent, your landlord must send you a 5-day notice to pay in full or move out. If you pay all late rent, including any late fees, before the end of 5 business days, your landlord cannot file for eviction. However, if you do not correct the problem or leave the rental unit in the given time period, your landlord has the right to go to court and file for eviction. To begin the eviction process, the landlord must go to court and file a complaint for summary possession. After filing, a sheriff, police officer, or an adult who is not a part of the eviction must serve you the court papers. These papers may also be posted to your door. Once you are served with a complaint, the eviction court process begins. The court papers will include a complaint and a summons. In the complaint, the landlord can ask a judge to order you to move out, pay back rent, court fees, and attorney's fees, which are also known as damages. The summons is a command from the judge to appear at the hearing on the answer date. At this time, it is a good idea to begin looking for new housing in the event that your landlord may win, because you may have very little time to move out. On the answer date, you will go before the judge and respond to the landlord's complaint. The judge will determine if the case will go to trial. These are several important things to remember. It is very important to arrive early for your answer date. If you are late or do not show up, your landlord will get everything they asked for and you can be evicted on this day. When you arrive, find the case list and look for your case number. Make sure your case is scheduled and that you are in the right courtroom. If your case is not on the list, let the clerk know. Do not leave until you have spoken with the clerk and received instructions on what to do next. Wait for your case to be called. Cases are not always called in order, so do not leave the room at any time. If you are not present when your case is called, you may lose by default. On the answer date, you will only give the court your answer to the complaint. This will either be admit, agree, or deny, disagree. If you admit or agree, this means that you agree with everything in the complaint and that you do not want to tell your side of the story. Your case will be over. The judge will grant your landlord the right to take back the rental unit, allow the sheriff to physically remove you if you do not move out, and direct you to pay any money or additional damages to your landlord. Admitting may also damage your credit and renting history. If you deny, disagree, this means that you disagree with something in the complaint and you do want to tell your side of the story at the next court date. If you deny, the judge will give you the date of your next hearing called pretrial. Pretrial is the second step in the eviction process for Honolulu cases. If the hearing is at another courthouse, skip to the trial stage. At pretrial, you, the landlord, and the judge will meet. The judge will ask if you and the landlord have come to an agreement. If you have not reached an agreement, the judge will ask that you meet with a mediator. If you reach an agreement in mediation, the agreement will be put in writing. Then you and the landlord will review and sign it. Next, the judge will read the agreement on the court record to become a court order. There should be no more court dates unless you agree to it in the settlement. If you do not reach a settlement, your case will be scheduled for trial. You and the landlord must give the judge the names of witnesses who will be at your trial and schedule a date to exchange documents and other types of evidence with the landlord, called exhibits. If you do not provide your exhibits to the landlord on the court-ordered date, you will not be allowed any documents as evidence during the trial. You may be ordered to pay disputed rent as it becomes due into a rent trust fund which is held by the court. If you do not pay this money, your landlord will automatically win and you can be evicted immediately. The trial is the final court appearance. The landlord will present their case first, then you will follow. The judge will decide the case without jury based on the evidence, testimony, exhibits, and how those facts fit the law. The landlord must prove to the judge that the facts in the complaint are true. If the judge decides the landlord has not proven the facts, then you may present your facts. If you win, the judge will order the landlord to allow you to stay in the rental unit. Another hearing may be scheduled to see if you should get any money. If you lose, the judge will allow your landlord to take back the possession of the unit. The landlord will have the right to have a sheriff physically remove you and your belongings and change the locks to the unit. The judge can also issue a judgment which may tell you to pay your landlord for any rent, late fees, landlord's attorney's fees, the landlord's court costs, holdover rent, costs of repairs, and/or interest. For other resources, including legal information brochures and interactive interviews, see the additional information section below. Remember, this video is only meant to give general legal information and not to give specific legal advice. For more information, call Legal Aid Society of Hawaii at 808-536-4302 or visit www.legalaidhawaii.org.